to Watch is an intimate look into the lives of prominent and influential women leaders from around the world and the challenges they faced on their journey. It's the real story behind her title. Join us every week to hear more stories about women from around the world and in your own communities at womentowatch.net. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another week of Women to Watch. I'm Sue Rocco. Thank you so much for being with me. Joining me in just a moment will be Shikha Miglani, and Shikha is the co-founder and CEO of Saarthee, which is a data and analytics technology company just outside of Philadelphia. Don't forget to stay with us as we go into our breaks, where you'll hear from our Watch team of corporate partners, bringing you some news and information from their organizations. And as always, be sure to visit our YouTube channel at W2W Media, where you can get the latest segments from our corporate partners. So now I'm very honored and excited to welcome to the show, Shikha Miglani. Shikha, welcome to the show.
Hey, Susan. I'm super excited to be here with you, and thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm glad that we finally made it happen. You and I connected quite a while ago, and I'm thrilled to have you here. And as we always do, I'm going to start at the very beginning of your life. And I wonder if you could just talk for a few minutes about the town that you grew up in, or were born in, I should say, in India, and then what age you were when you came to the United States.
Yeah, Susan, I was born and brought up in India. I grew up in a small town. So my father was in a job where he moved from place to place, but within the same state. So it was not a whole lot of change. India is a very diverse country, but within that state, you would meet different kinds of people. And then I think the 10 to 12 years of my life, before I kind of headed into college, was in a small town in India. And it was just a small town. People had a very simple life. Education was the one thing my parents always had a big focus on. And just with any strong woman, any successful woman, there's a very strong dad behind. So my father, I think, played a very important role in the way I kind of looked at life, right? And it was, and I would emphasize it more because when you grow up in a small town like that in India, it's not everyone gets that kind of an opportunity. So I was lucky to have strong parents, liberal, strong parents who could really understand the value of education and guide me towards it. My grandparents were both on both the sides were immigrants. They came from Nepal, and then my father's side came from undivided India, which was Pakistan. My mom was, like she was a very strong person, as just a strong person, the constant presence in my life. I remember the images that I think of, when I think of my mom, is her worshipping Goddess Durga. And Goddess Durga is a religious deity. She's this really super powerful lady sitting on a lion, sitting on a tiger with, all sorts of weapons and still looking very feminine. So back in those days, we didn't have, Wonder Woman for us or Supergirl, not in a way we have it today. But she was the kind of lady I feel like I embodied it in the way I kind of function in my life. The idea of feminism where you look like a woman and you're strong. You don't, you can do everything being a woman. You don't have to be a man to succeed.
Right.
So my
Yeah.
mother really, put forward that image pretty strongly, just by being connected to the deity. Very strong woman, and she also came from a family of strong women, in a sense that it was a very patriarchal setup, but very matriarchal approach. So a lot of single women, raising and taking care of the family. So I think it had a deep impact in a way I looked at myself as a woman. On my father's side, he was he originated from a very traditional family, but it was amazing how he had a completely different perspective, from rest of the family. He really believed in education for everyone, right? There was no difference between me and my brother. I remember him giving me a drill machine, take a drill machine and drill the holes. I remember him putting me on his all the projects that he would work on. He would give me an equal opportunity, and that really helped me develop a love for engineering. And it's such a interesting way to talk about this now, because I just came back from India. So I took my daughter, who went to India after 6 years. I wanted to show her where I grew, what my parents did. So I took her to the same place where my father used to take me. It was a power plant. It was a hydroelectric power station where we would go and look at the machines, the turbine, the generator. I mean, you just can't, you just love it. When you experience that kind of a machine, the exposure to machines, you simply just love it, right? So, uh,
That's so nice that you could take your daughter there. Not a lot of children get to see, well, I guess it's different today, but if you come from a different country, not a lot of children get to go back and see where their parents came from.
yeah, it was so amazing. And by the end of that trip, you know what she said, Susan? She said, "Mama, you worked your way up."
Yeah,
It was
right.
so that was
You
a
worked
message
your
I was
way.
trying to tell her, that if you work
Yes.
hard, you can go from anywhere, whether you are from a small town in India or you are somebody here, right? You always have a way up, is the message I was trying to pass on to her, with no really, like, no, I was not like constantly thinking about it, but she just got the message.
Yeah,
So I mean, that
that's a great, lesson for her. I know your dad was an engineer, and you clearly must have taken an interest in that very early. Did What age did you decide you were actually gonna pursue that in school?
I was really, I was really good in studies. I used to get all the A grades. I was the top ranker in my school. I was a very popular girl in school. I would be the captain of the house, doing things. So I was quite there. Very much in the front of everything that I did, and always in the leadership role. Somehow it was just the way I ended up in situations like that. So uh, I think just by taking maths and science, it was very natural to pursue engineering. Uh, it was my dad definitely, encouraging me, but engineering was also the way of life back then. When you were trying to find good careers, in maths and science came very naturally to most of the people. But to me, it was a little bit more than the routine. It was really the love for the craft, love for the field, that really got me into thinking about it very early on, at the age about 14 or 15, I would say, Susan. And then I think my I told you, right, my dad would put me into real engineering exercises. He would ask me to drill a hole, and I remember a situation where the electricity went off. There was no power. Now we were supposed to fix the fuse. Back in those days, you had
In
some
your
wire
home?
outside of the house, so
Yeah.
you were supposed to go and remove it and fix the wire or something like that. So my brother came to me and said, "Shikha, can you do it?" So it was, so even the men in man. So the point I'm trying to make is, I grew up with very cool men who were very easy, who were very cool with the idea that women were doing the same thing as they were doing.
Is
So
that common in your culture, or in that particular community, for women
uh,
to be looked at as equally capable?
Y- So in back in those days, maybe it was not that common. I think I grew up in a progressive family, more progressive than other families.
Okay.
Uh, but what is really good about India is the emphasis on education helps gives a lot of opportunities to women by default. So even if there is a bias, there is this constant push on education for everybody, so it kind of gives you more opportunities in a way. And as I said, engineering is the way of life, so I see more women getting into maths and science, at least women of my generation who got out and had these really good careers, pursued maths, science, and engineering. So yeah, I mean, it's I think it's a combination of economy, the way economy went, about the fields that really gave you good jobs was the natural kind of a flow, how people went about it. But as I said, in my case, it was that love for the field, so much so that when I graduated, I had the option to go to get into the software engineering, and I did not. I wanted to get into core engineering, feel the machines, fix the
Yeah.
machines, touch
Yeah.
them. feel them. So I completely took a different path, and I'm so glad I did it that way. So I was one of the first women engineers on the shop floor, the first job that I got. Um, was, in a
Was that in India or in the
in
United
India. In
States?
India.
Yeah, okay.
So I worked there for some time, and then I came here for masters, and then I worked here for some time, and then we founded Saarthee. Me and my partner founded Saarthee together. And back in India, it was a very I just loved it. Those 4 or 5 years shaped me as a professional. They gave me an opportunity to really take life head on. I remember they were not giving me the shop floors to work on. It was not very common. I don't believe any woman went there before, so I told them I'm not gonna be in the job. I'm gonna quit this job if you don't give me that. So they gave me that position, and it was fun. It was hard. So when I entered the room, they were all men, and I think it was hard to for them to really believe that some woman could do it. I think they thought that I would just leave the place within a month or so, but that didn't happen.
You, you
I
stuck
kind of,
it out.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
one of the quotes I have, because I love you, said this to me in our intro call. You said, I have always had the strength to speak my mind, but always with compassion. And was that something that you felt was a strategic way to kind of in those types of environments, being the only woman in the room, um, get what you needed? Or is that just who you are, that you're confident and you're independent, but you do have compassion and an interest in helping other people develop around you?
When you're that young, you don't have well-formed view of feminism. You know that you are equal. You know that you have a good sense of self-worth. But my ideas were not well-formed then. Now that I'm running Sarthi, I have understood my leadership style, what works best. I have understood that there's a viewpoint. Feminism is the ideology, right? That needs to be brought forward, but it needs to be brought forward in a way that other person listens to you. I call it the brand of positive feminism, which I think makes it more practical. Compassion is very natural. Empathy is very natural to me. As I said, my dad, he was the man in front of me. He was the one who could take on these machines and be so strong and tough when it comes to uh, dealing with his profession. But on the other side, he has the softest side where he would bring me a rose every morning, after his night shift, put that rose next to me. So he showed me that strength and sensitivity can coexist, and you don't have to choose one over another, right? Um, and my mom, being a strong woman in the house, gave me a natural, when you see somebody that's strong and headstrong. And I know she was a woman of that generation. She was stuck between tradition and her own strength as a woman, but you do pick up things from your mother, in so many ways. So yeah, I would say that when I started working, it was, I think there was more aggression, more more anger sometimes at the way word function. But what I've always felt is that if you keep your head down and work honestly, people around you perceive your energy. There
Mm.
may be biases around, but sometimes the best way to combat the biases to just put your head down, work, and just let
And
the work, right?
prove yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, moved you. And I remember when I went to one of those, remote sites, and you can't even imagine, Susan, remote sites in India are pretty dangerous places. You have all these robberies and people, and you stay in a hotel where, strange men knocking on the room. I mean, it's one of those crazy places, but I like adventure, I have to do something which is dangerous. I
I
remember I
don't know
was
that I want that kind of adventure, but
you would climb 400 stairs up, 400 stairs down, to get to a restroom. There were no restrooms for women.
oh
So
my
just imagine
gosh.
that. And then when you go into the room, something is not working. The first thing people say, "Oh, you're a woman, so maybe that's why it's not working." That's obvious, but don't react to it. I would say. I mean, that's what I did. I did not react to it, and I stuck to it for like 4 days, trying to fix the problem. You know what happened? The problem was not on my side. It was something on their side. They did not put the connector in. And I went and checked the cabinets, and I said, "Okay, why this connector out? Oh, okay, it's because of that. It was not working." So I came back and told him, and he became a good buddy of mine. I did not go and, told on him to his manager. We became good buddies. So I told him that you'll have to show me the entire power plant now. And then you know what happened when everything
Very handy. And I mean, being an engineer, because there's so many different types as well, it comes in so handy in life.
it comes in so handy. I love fixing stuff. I love putting furniture together. I love figuring out things. Now I don't have the time, but when I had the time, I would do it myself. I think it teaches you problem solving in every
Yeah.
way, right? Whether it's gender bias or machines, you're doing the same thing. How do I solve the problem? So
Did
yeah, I
you
mean,
always know that you were going to be an entrepreneur? Did you feel inside that you always wanted to work for yourself?
it didn't come to me naturally, I would say, but me and my partner, who is also the co-founder, always had dreams about building something of our own. I remember these conversations where we said, okay, we should do something of our own, but we knew that we would do it in future sometime, but we didn't have an exact idea how it's going to happen. So I took some time off. I was about to have my daughter, and I just took some time off, and I was putting some product together, and I said, okay, let me set up a company. Let's call it Saarthee, and it also rhymed with
Which,
my daughter's name.
yeah, tell the viewers what the name Sarti means.
Yeah, so Saarthee means mentor, guide, trusted companion. It's a Sanskrit word, and it originates from a story, ancient, like a war happened. It's a mythological war that happened many, many years ago between two brothers. So each one had the option to choose Saarthee, Lord Krishna, or a million soldier army. So the brother Arjun, who won the war, chose Lord Krishna, the chief strategist. So the moral of the story is like the quality is better than the quantity. So as a company, quality is of utmost focus in everything we do, and we believe that if you create a clever team led by Saarthee is somebody like me with many many years of experience in both business, technology, AI, analytics, whatever it is, who can really orchestrate the solutions and lead a team of mighty analysts too. So we that way you're able to deliver outcomes which are really very much aligned to the business. And we really there's a power in the name, because this is how we kind of run all our operations. And we get rave reviews from our customer clients. There are mainstream vendors, but the kind of work we do is very very nuanced. We're very business centric company. We build the data points, we also make the data point tell the story. So we are a strategy, analytics, technology, and AI company. And think of us as a James Bond, where we can fix the bomb, we can jump the train, but we can also wear the business suit to speak the language of the business. As
Wow.
visual of the Saarthee. Very, very
Yes.
premier, but not pretentious.
Let me ask you this question. In today's world, there's no business or company that can run without having data and analytics, and AI now is just another
Yeah.
tool that's changing rapidly. But when you made this decision to launch this company, was there a fear you're stepping into such a highly competitive space where there are already some massive companies? Or did you have an idea of where your niche would be as far as who your clients were going to be and the size of the company you wanted to build?
Yeah, so I'm so glad we started with analytics. So a lot of times when you start with technology, you're only looking at everything from a technology perspective, but it is so important to have a business perspective into everything you're trying to do, right? Whether you're trying to build systems, build technology around the data, or you're trying to, transform that data. It is very important to know your whys. So starting with analytics, I don't think it was planned. We just worked in analytics, so it kind of came to us naturally, right? That's what we was the mainstay. But analytics is driven by technology, right? And technology could be AI, it could be data, it could be the tools, the snowflake, whatever you want to call it, right? Tableau, whatever it is, right? Data science models. So technology could be anything, but it has to drive the business. It has to truly answer why business is spending money on it. So having that analytics gave us that the strategic analytics gave us that strong footing on the ground. It gave us discipline, right? That it has to make sense, it has to come together. So we are truly truly moving something on the other end. So think of, let's say if we were working with marketing and we're running campaigns, we're not just running campaigns from a technology perspective. We're not just dealing with the code. We're also telling them this is how you can save your money, right? We're helping people save millions and millions of dollars by finding insights from the data, whether it's the data that starts from a certain place or the data that we transform, that the way campaigns are being run, right? Or if we are doing customer experience analytics, we are not just dealing with the the voice platform or the or the data assets around it. We're also telling them how they can, what are the meaningful insights they're getting from that data, so they can again go and make improve their bottom line, improve ROIs by improving their agent performance, or in a way they are allocating the agents, or we also listen to calls, giving them strategic insights. So we are very, because we serve the entire analytics value chain from the inception of technology, transforming it through analytics, powering it with data science, and driving the strategy. What we do here is really very phenomenal, Susan, because we are truly moving the business with everything, every effort, every effort that we put into the technology is actually driving the business forward for our clients. And I'm very
Wow.
proud to say that.
Yeah. We're going to go into our first break. And when we come back, I want to hear the story of the launch of Saarthee. Stay with us as we go into our first break, where you'll hear from our watch team of corporate partners, and we'll be back with Shikha Miglani.
As a female-led organization, you have to bring it every single day. We're a mashup of sort of right and left brain. So we're not just doing management consulting. We're not just doing creative services. We're not just producing an event, but we're bringing a comprehensive solution to our clients. And because of the way we approach it, we end up being bought into what it is that we're doing in a way that we truly have as much skin in the game as our clients do, whether it's bringing affordable internet to communities across the Caribbean, or it's helping Comcast with their Internet Essentials program, which is something we've been very proud to work on, or it's helping the NFL celebrate their centennial season by getting 1 million people to give at least 100 minutes to causes they care about, or helping the city of Philadelphia win the World Cup. So what's next for us? Well, we just hit just over 100 employees. I think we are at that tipping point, and I don't think there's anybody that does it better than we do. I'm Maggie Wilkinson, CEO of Athena Global Advisors, a company that is proudly based in Philadelphia.
Hi, I'm Katie Gore, the president of Quadell Consulting and Training. There are a lot of myths about affordable housing and the people who need and live in affordable housing. One myth, for example, only people who are unemployed need and live in affordable housing. The reality is that many people in affordable housing actually have working full-time jobs. Teachers, healthcare workers, service employees, people who are essential in our communities. They often struggle to afford rent in so many communities across the nation. And that's what's the beauty about affordable housing. They are providing work in the communities at an affordable rent. Another myth is that affordable housing increases crime. Studies consistently show there is no link between affordable housing and increased crime. In fact, stable housing can reduce crime by providing security and fostering stronger community neighborhoods and building attachment for the people who live in affordable housing. For more information about affordable housing and to walk through some more of those myths, you can find me and my segment on the Women to Watch platform.
Welcome back to the show. I'm speaking this week with Shikha Miglani, and Shikha is the co-founder and CEO of Saarthee, which is a data and analytics technology company. And I always love the origin story of a startup and a company, and where the initial idea came from, and how did that first year go?
Yeah, hey Susan. Yeah, so as I said before, we always wanted to build something of our own, and I founded put Saarthee on LegalZoom, and you won't believe within 2 months I had my first client, and
Oh,
it
who
was
was that?
yeah
That's
I had my first client, and they were my ex-employers, and I mean I was working there, and I said, okay, I don't want to come back to work. I have set up my company, and this is the only I want to work. So they just took Saarthee on board, and I worked for 2 months. It was such a great feeling to get that first paycheck. Um, and then the same thing followed with my other partner. He quit his job, and we started getting work from the other side. We were very very much focused on work. And that's what I would also advise other people is to really create a brand by really putting the work, because you don't become founder on day one. It takes years to understand who you are really as an entrepreneur, and it takes some time to bake that vision and do it over and over again. Find better ways to do things, find the flaws in the way other people are doing things, and then make it better, right, with your own way of working. So I'm so glad we both founders are very very work focused. We are very hands on, we are very detail oriented. We exactly know what is going on inside the system, right? When we lead the team as Saarthee, we have the capability to solve it ourselves, and then we definitely lead the team. We let them do it, but we definitely know the ins and outs of the technology we work with, and we guide our teams with strategy, right, for our clients. So I think it was, yeah, I mean, founded the company, got my client, and then work started flowing in. We were replacing all the mainstream vendors. People, love working with us. We were getting 5-star reviews. We worked with C-suite executives. They really, it was really a very, organic growth, word of mouth. And I call this anti-establishment streak. This is how you challenge the big folks out there, David
Yeah.
versus Goliath, right? When everything is like the status quo, people come in, they bring in their, bring in
Yeah.
their
You,
hard work. Yeah.
yeah. One of the things that I know you're very proud of is that more than 50% of your employees are women.
Lot of, yes, we have women in instrumental, like places which are very very operationally critical. And you know what, Susan, what makes my day as an entrepreneur is when I go and take interviews, and this girl comes and tells me, hey, I've not met a female founder before. You're the first female founder I'm meeting and getting interviewed, right? So that is the kind of, sometimes you make an impact just by being there. You don't have to do anything. Just do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So we have plenty of women we have my sales operations are being led by women. My Canada operations are being led by women. UK operations are being led by women. We have, team here, me, and we have the team in India, the human resources, the operations, the delivery managers. I mean, some of these key positions, really, really, a lot of women in my team. And it happened very naturally. I was not trying to make it a point to prove anything. It's just that when you work here, you are also talking to other female partners, right? And they naturally become allies. And that's why it's so important to have more women under leadership, is because they believe that when she can do it, I can also do it. It's a
Yeah.
very natural, organic way of changing the status quo, is to, it's just the visual of it, right? We react to what we see, right? So that is exactly how kind of Saarthee shaped up, and it's going to be that way only. The way, I don't even sometimes plan things, and somebody comes up, and I said, okay, that's great. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
It's always evolving. What is your vision for the company as far as size? Do you want to get as big as you can, or do you want to keep it a manageable size?
if this was before generative AI, I would have said yes, size is the number one thing. But post Gen AI, there's a word before Gen AI and there's a word after Gen AI. And I think we have to think about growth from an innovation perspective more so. It's not that we were always innovative from the start, but post Gen AI, every professional, every company, every founder, every VP has to think about innovation, because it is a game changer. It is really has the capability to imitate humans, right? And if we focus on solutions, focus on how AI can assist us, we can see the growth definitely through the size, but also through the innovation. So yes, my vision for the company is to grow this company, in the space of analytics, AI, and technology, but not just see growth in terms of number. Will be natural. It's gonna be natural growth, but also see an exponential growth through innovation. And that's why I just wanted to introduce two of the AI arms in Saarthee, Iti and Maiti. So Iti means I think, therefore I am. And then Maiti is again Maitreyi was the most ancient, like the ancient, feminist from Vedic eras in India, right? I mean, there's a story behind it, but I kind of named the company around her name. And so Saarthee has two AI arms, Iti and Maiti. Iti is more around, the learnings as we are working on, on our processes, what can we automate through AI and create solutions. And Maiti is more about collaboration AI, where I'm, venturing with folks who are really know the business problems to be solved. They're really in the, in the, they're really out there, know and tell us what they're looking for, and we assist them as innovation partners, and we work together to solve AIs in spaces where nobody's even looking, right? So, and Maiti is like the female expression. It is by we both are looking after it. So I'm like we're bringing in our unique individuality and personality. So that's very exciting in Saarthee, the AI part to it. So yes, I we are looking to grow the company, and we are doing phenomenal. We have grown into we started with telecom. We are into media, retail, healthcare, real estate, technology, a lot of solutions, a lot of products coming up. So it's a very exciting phase in Saarthee. We are scaling the company, and every day is something new to look forward to, and not one dull day. It was always like that, but it's so exciting, Susan. I can't even tell you. And if you were to ask me what keeps me going, I would say being at Saarthee, I get to use my brain. I get to feel, people around me. I meet people, work with people in my company, with my clients, with other newer stakeholders. So that keeps me exciting, and just the idea of having that ability to make change on top of it is what completes the circle. So I'm also on the board of Big Brother Big Sister, and I'm working very closely with them to see how we can bring in a more analytical perspective, business perspective, how I can drive their strategy, bring in my
What made
own.
you, what made you decide that organization in particular to work with?
So Sarthi had sponsored events in the past, so I knew the leadership team. They kind of, they knew me, and we went on a lunch, and they it was an offer and I couldn't refuse, because Tati means mentor, guide, companion, and Big Brother, Big Sister means the same thing. It's an organization, which really kids who are looking for, role models in their life, they assist in matching, kids with the role models, with the mentors. So it was very natural. I just love the cause because I know, there is ways you can help kids with money, but there is nothing like the gift of mentorship. There is nothing like it because it stays for a lifetime. I've heard stories of people who are bigs and they're helping them find jobs. So I mean, it's huge, right?
Especially in this field, right? As
Yes.
we want as many young people entering the field, girls and boys, as possible. And I think some may be hesitant, feeling that they don't have the ability to learn. But it's so much of it is about storytelling, isn't it? You talk about the connection between the story of a brand and uncovering the data and the analytics, using AI.
Yes, AI definitely. AI can help the nonprofit so much. It can save them manpower. It can give them quick answers. It can give them more ideas around for profit, for purpose business. I mean, there's so much power in this machine that we can choose to get threatened and ignore it. But if we embrace the power of AI, it's amazing. It's like a oil, and we have to design vehicles around it. We have to design a motorbike. We have to design a car. We have to design a Ferrari. What do we do with this oil, right? Is this what the game is about? And it's very interesting. I'm like, AI is to me. This is what I dream about. It day and night, and this. And the more you talk to people, the more you understand the business problems are to be solved. And once, if you don't just do AI for the heck of it, oh, I have to do AI is a buzzword, but really solve something either you're passionate about, you've worked on it, or you can collaborate with somebody on the front end of the business who really knows what they're looking for. I think those are the ways you can really make a lot of impact and to me, Saarthee, Iti, and Maiti exactly are in the right space to take on innovations like that. And I'm really really excited about innovation at Saarthee.
Can you share with me something that has been a challenge for you? As a woman who I would say from a very young age, you were confident, right? And you were adventurous, and you just were a can-do person. We all have things that we struggle with. What's something that you perhaps have overcome or is still a challenge for you today?
uh, for underselling. I think one thing was I was constantly underselling. I know my parents raised me well. My father was really, so inspiring. My mother, took good care of me. But somewhere when you grow up in India, back in again in my generation, a lot is expected from you. So you don't get to hear awesome very easily.
Oh,
When I came to States, people would say awesome, and I said, okay, I didn't do anything. Why are they telling me awesome? It's not. I mean, I'm yet to do a
so
lot.
I think that's called humble.
Yeah. So
That
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 drove us
could
to
be
do more,
humble.
pleasing the parents. But also at some point, you have to say enough is enough. I did good, and I have to
Yeah,
start
and be
telling my
proud.
story now. I
Yes.
can't, you can't second guess yourself all the time whether I did enough or not. And as a leader, you have to take on. And I don't think it's a challenge anymore. I'm telling you, this is the most amazing thing I did in Saarthee was to become, really focus on the growth of the company, not looking to hire, achieve first, getting into the hem of things and figuring out how to grow and scale the company and just go around. I was watching Shark Tank, and there was this, entrepreneur coming in asking for funding, and he said, "I'm going to hire somebody in sales and marketing." And Mark Cuban said, "You built your company, and you want somebody else to come and sell your company." And that stuck with me. Yes, if you build something, you got to go and you should be the one. You should be the
Yes.
chief growth officer of your company, right?
Right.
At
Well,
least
you
driving
have
it.
all the passion, right? You have
Yes,
the
yes,
most passion for
yes,
the work and what you're
yes,
doing.
yes. And I'll tell you, there were not many women in sales. So that was the self doubt I had whether I could do it or not. And once I cross over that hump, just taking it on, and just embracing the situations. Not everything was great, right? It was a mixed bag, but most of the days were really good. But just doing it, sometimes we talk about self belief, Susan. uh, you just have to earn it. It's a wage. You have to earn it. You have to work hard for it. You have to go rock climbing. Go up in the cliff, scratch, you know get bruises, blood, sweat, tears. Right? You're not gonna get it otherwise. Right? It's a risk. You have to take those chances in life, and the harder you push, sometimes, uh, I don't know. The outcomes are really sweet, but enjoy. Make sure you're having fun doing it. Don't kill yourself. And I had fun. I'm telling you, I love adventure, and
Tell. Oh, I can tell you have fun doing it. One of the things people say about you is that you've created such a wonderful culture within your company, and that you really have the ability to kind of rally people to come to a challenge and want to solve problems. So that's a really special quality. People want to do good work for you because they respect you.
yes, culture. When I started Sarthi, I didn't understand culture. How do I say culture? But culture eventually became the way we talked, the values we held, the way we led the team, the kind of work we did, our integrity with our clients, our integrity with our team, right? Our integrity with the work we are doing, right? It's really you live that culture and you create that culture. So I'm so glad, uh, you know, um, I'm so glad that we walk the talk. We took the harder routes. There were calls to be made, and sometimes it's very easy to do something which is very easy, right? And it's all good in the short run. But we always played the long game. And to me, yes, that is the culture, right? I call that as a culture. You can put words into it, you can buzzword, but actually it's your own personality, it's your belief system that you bring to the front. So yeah, again, me and my co-founder Mrinal Prasad, I'm so glad I founded this company with him. We had similar values in the way we kind of thought about things and the way we did our work. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know if I
Yeah.
answered the question, but I think leading the team is our combined passion. He's more of a coach, I'm a captain, but
Oh,
it
good.
comes very
There you
natural to us, where we really get very very enthusiastic about people's success when they do well. We feel elated. There is this personal connect you develop with, when you make other people succeed. I think it's very addictive, the process of not just, succeeding, as a person, as an individual, as a founder, but also having the teammates succeed it's a very beautiful feeling. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs chase that feeling. I don't think they ever work for money. It feels like they're working for money. They work for passion, the passion for work and passion for people and passion to build something. So
Yes,
I think,
yes.
yeah, and I'm excited about where Saarthee is going next. But I'm so glad we spent time baking in the right, vision and carrying the right values to take forward that vision.
Yes. My last question for you, you mentioned your daughter. I'd love to know what you've learned from her.
So before Saarthee, I founded Girl of Substance. It was my first baby. It was a clothing store, and I'm thinking about it's going to be a more of an idea platform now. But yes, I started as a clothing store. When she was 3 years old, 4 years old, I went into an elevator with her, and she was wearing a T-shirt with cute, warm, something you typically find on a little girl's T-shirt. And there was a boy 4 or 5 years old entered with a image of uh, a jet plane or something like that. So the folks entered in and they said, "Hey, you're so cute," and they told the boy, "Hey, you want to be a fighter pilot?" And this happened like 2 or 3 times. I said, if they keep doing this to my daughter, she's gonna.
She
I mean,
won't
I'll
know she
undo
can be a
her.
fighter pilot.
I'm not saying that they can't become that. I'm not saying they can't go to Harvard. But you see, Susan, you can't solve this by sending girls to Harvard. You have to create that self belief and ambition from the start.
Mhm.
So I said, okay, if you can't give clothes to my daughter, and I was amazed this happened in America because the clothes and toys are not that gendered. At least when I was growing up, I played with everything my brother played with. But I think as America grew, it became, the business or whatever you want to say it. So it became more gendered. So I said, if you're not gonna make clothes for my daughter the way I want it to be, I'm gonna do it myself. So I founded that clothing store, and and I spoke. It was my answer to the word, to the to the norms, that this is the way to think. And a lot of men came to me and said, wow, you see, there's a part of. I thought a lot of women, of course, a lot of women and girls, and it was exciting to hear from them. It was very exciting to hear from men to acknowledge that even they get very suffocated when they are being, typecasted into behaving certain way. So I think that happened. So my daughter is a huge inspiration for me. I was reading a Sally Ride book when she was 7 year old, and I said, okay, I'll buy you a Sally Ride T-shirt. She said, why buy me a T-shirt? I want to be an astronaut. I don't want to wear a Sally Ride astronaut tee. I mean, just a little girl saying that, right? And somewhere down the book, there was a chapter on science. I said, and it said girls can't take science or something like that. I said, no, that's not true. Girls can do science. And she said, of course, Mama. She was watching a Taylor Swift documentary with me, and somewhere in the show, she sues, some guy for $1, and she said, "Why is she suing for $1?" I said, "She's trying to make a statement. She's not doing it for money, right?"
She doesn't, right? She's made her own. She doesn't need it.
Yeah. And I used to take interviews in the night, and she would overhear me taking puzzles. She'll ask me, Mama, can you ask me that puzzle? So I'm just giving examples of sometimes, and to all the women out there who worry too much about raising kids, you have to lead them by example. And it's okay if you didn't spend some time, and you spend that time at some other, point in life. But it's like a marine don't spend time with their kids all the time, but they lead them by example. And you can raise perfectly, good functioning kids by leading by example, by conversation, by how you act and what you do with your life. So I know Girl of Substance was something I did long time back. I live Girl of Substance with her, and I live Women's Day in Saarthee every single day of my life. So, yes, that's a motivation. One of the motivations you would ask me why I run Saarthee is, all these things. Just by being there, just by being there and encouraging people and
Yeah.
telling people that it's possible.
Yes.
Follow your
And
dream.
and it'll be fun to watch what she actually does become when she grows up. She has grand aspirations.
She's yeah, I mean, I never push her, but I tell her that these are the things you can do. But she's a single kid. She's very independent, and she's very strong. And it's amazing. I see that if you raise a girl from the start, and you start, when you talk about other women in a way you should talk about,
Mm-hmm.
they pick on it, they really know what you're
True.
supposed to do. So she went to a new school, and she was when she saw girls putting in makeup or something, she came and asked me, why are we putting those are the things she's coming and asking me. And she's uh, thinking about it, but I don't want to be preachy. I want her to make her own opinions about things, and teach her critical thinking, right? I think most
Yes.
important gift, I can't stop her from watching every video, but I can teach her to question everything she watches.
Yes.
See
Yes.
whether it's, because you can't. The word of
I
technology,
think
or
that's the
the
most
weapon is
important.
critical thinking, and she has
Yes.
plenty, and I'm sure she'll do just fine.
Yeah. I'm sure she will with a mom like you.
Thanks, Susan.
Shika, thank you so much for taking time to be on the show. I appreciate it very much, and I wish you continued success.
Thank you so much, Susan. Thank you.
We'll go into our last break, and I will be back to close out the show. Over on our Women to Watch YouTube channel, we have a partner profile series featuring some of the amazing executive women working at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Our latest installment features Dr. Susan Firth. Here's an excerpt from our latest conversation. The goal, I would say, of CHOP is for every child to have a chance at a healthy future. And how does the Research Institute specifically support and help in that goal?
One of our strategic imperatives as an enterprise is to really promote research-driven precision medicine, so diagnostics and therapeutics that are really tailored to an individual's circumstance. And I always add to that research-driven precision medicine that this has to be research-driven precision medicine for everyone. So we've invested in programs around health equity research methods and making sure that as we are pursuing our research and discovery, that we're thinking about how our questions apply to different populations, whether it's where they live, if they're rural or urban, or what their social determinants of health are. So we're trying to incorporate thinking broadly about improving child health to all populations. So we want to help children who are around the world and also in our backyard.
To learn more about Dr. Susan Firth, head over to our Women to Watch YouTube channel for the full interview.
We are CHOP, and we can't wait to show you around. We're the nation's first children's hospital. Now, a care network with more than 50 locations that continues to expand. 3 state-of-the-art research buildings with 1.5 million square feet of space. We have grown from 12 beds 165 years ago to nearly 600 beds and one of the best children's hospitals in the world. We have a level 1 trauma center, 11 floors of patient units, more than 20 operating rooms, first of its kind delivery unit for babies with birth defects, a separate cardiac operative and catheterization suite, and places to learn, like our internationally recognized simulation center. We have trained generations of leaders in the field of pediatrics. We are world leaders in medicine, surgery, and science. One of the top recipients in NIH funding for pediatric research. In this building, pioneers in CAR T therapy, mitochondrial disease, brain tumors, hyperinsulinism, and other rare diseases. Here, groundbreaking work in fetal surgery, genetics and genomics, and neurology. In our newest building, leaders in social determinants of health, clinical informatics and epidemiology, autism, trauma and injury prevention. Our patients come from every state and 115 countries. Meeting these challenges requires the best and the brightest. We are passionate about pediatrics. We are motivated to make a difference in the world and in our community. We are a team. We are CHOP.
Hi, I'm Dawn Zier, CEO, Board Director, and Executive Mentor to Fortune 500 executives through my work at the Exco Group, a firm of experienced CEOs, board directors, and global business leaders who offer real-world experience to help organizations and senior executives grow. At some point early on in your life, you've likely been asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? Some of us know right away, but most of us don't know exactly what we want to do and change our mind multiple times throughout our lives, and that's perfectly okay. Take me, for example. When I look at my career, it's been a nonlinear journey and chock full of reinventions. First, I was an engineer, then I switched to marketing. I worked at a phone company, a bank, ran international for a media company, became a CEO of a health and wellness company, and now serve on multiple boards across various industries. Which brings me to one of the biggest lessons I've learned. For many successful people, their career is not a straight line. Let each chapter, each role inform the next, and don't be afraid to pivot. Also, remember that one often needs to make lateral moves rather than take a promotion to prepare for upward mobility. No experience is wasted, and every position you find yourself in is an opportunity to learn, to figure out what you want to do, and perhaps even more importantly, what you don't want to do, and also to define where your true passion lies. Please follow me on LinkedIn at Dawn Zier, and if you're a senior executive looking to grow in your career, visit excoleadership.com to learn more.
That's it, everyone, for another week of Women to Watch. Thank you so much for tuning in. Next week, I will be speaking with Vivian Shu, and Vivian is the founder of Lendinate, which is a corporation that brings together nonprofits and investors. Thank you, as always, to our sponsors and our Watch team of corporate partners. I'm so grateful for their support in helping me to bring you the show each and every week. And I will see you next time.